whatever propaganda in Pakistan media or in international media has been spread out, that has been smoked out from Indian side. And the clear picture is that what we are seeing in Air Force Station Adampur. Adampur has a strategical importance in Indian Air Force. And if you go to the history, every time Pakistan wanted to attack us, they have tried to hit the Adampur, and Adampur Air Force Station has treated itself very well. So the mood is good, and what else I can say? Everything is good.
Yes.
Whatever
Absolutely.
happening in Air Force Station Adampur is seen by the whole world.
Absolutely. Major General Harsh Kakkar, defense expert, is also joining us now live on the broadcast. Major General Kakkar, your first reaction to this visit that the Prime Minister has paid to one of the forward bases there, Adampur. We can see these visuals, how of course it's a big morale booster for our Jawans. The Prime Minister's unannounced surprise visit this morning.
See, firstly, I agree fully with the group captain who just spoke. Secondly, you've got to realize that the Prime Minister represents the nation. He began his speech yesterday with a salute to the armed forces, ended his speech with a salute to the armed forces. Today, when he's there at Adampur, he is representing the nation as a mark of thanks for the efforts, for the valor, for the sort of planning and the implementation that the Indian armed forces have done. You've got to realize that his presence there, apart from conveying that there is nothing busting apart propaganda, is a means of saying that the nation thanks the armed forces for what it's done, for having played out Operation Sindoor the way it was supposed to be, with absolute planning and implementation. It's his way of conveying on behalf of the nation the feelings of the nation when he stood there, when he spoke to the men, when he interacted with them. I think nothing can be more symbolic than this visit there. And a surprise visit at that actually shows that the base was in its normal functional form when the Prime Minister was to have arrived. And there was no red carpet, there was nothing which was really laid out to earmark a difference to the Prime Minister's visit. But it also displayed the readiness that is there for them to contribute. And I think not only will it be a major morale booster, it conveys the gratitude of the nation towards the armed forces, and I think it means a lot for the men in uniform.
Absolutely. Major General Kakkar, it of course means a lot for the uniform, as for the men in the uniform, as you were just saying. Also, Major General Kakkar, it conveys a message to Pakistan as well. It debunks their propaganda, that they harmed our bases. This was one of them that they tried to attack unsuccessfully, might I add. And Major General Kakkar also, it comes just the morning after that very powerful address to the nation that the Prime Minister gave as well.
That's what I said. He started and closed the address with gratitude to the armed forces, and he conveyed what we achieved and the way we prevented Pak from moving anywhere forward. And his visit today is only reiterating his statements of yesterday. And I think the world would be watching that visit and realizing that what he said yesterday, he stands by it, and what he is doing today is to only reiterate what he mentioned yesterday.
Absolutely. How strategic is this airbase for our forces, Major General Kakkar?
Every forward airbase is strategic. Every forward airbase has a value. And visiting one, it's an indication or it's a message that every single airbase of ours, every single individual of ours in uniform is an asset. And let's put it this way, every single airbase has got equal value. It's got some reason why it's there. And all of them are strategic.
Okay. Major General Kakkar, also, of course, just talking about this visit, as you're saying, of course, it's a big morale booster for our forces. It clearly, of course, also is an indication to them that the nation is with them. In a conflict time, of course, we all remember them. But even when a conflict may be over, the nation is standing with them. The nation is grateful to them and is standing with them.
Absolutely. In fact, that's what I said. The Prime Minister represents the nation. His very presence and his words of gratitude to the men who were there, the smiles that you see, and the happiness that you see in the men when the Prime Minister comes there and conveys the gratitude of the nation is something which is a major, major factor, especially when you're dealing in operations. And I think that is something which will carry a lot of weight, not just in the Air Force, but across all the three services, as also the other border guarding forces, including the BSF and those involved, that the nation is with you. And I think it's a very, very excellent message that the Prime Minister has conveyed by being present there and by representing the nation in displaying his gratitude.
Major Mohammad Ali Shah also continues to be with us at this point. Major Mohammad Ali Shah, clearly, of course, this is, a Prime Minister who spends his Diwali with the forces. This is a Prime Minister who goes and, of course, goes and takes out time to speak about the forces' issues as well. Major festivals, we've seen him go across the country and, be with the Jawans who are away from their family. The Prime Minister goes as their family member for these special occasions. So, it's not just today that he's gone to an airbase after Operation Sindoor. This is a Prime Minister who makes it a point to go and visit the Jawans in the harshest of conditions, be it in Kargil or, in the heat in Gujarat, close to Kutch. The Prime Minister makes it a point to go and visit them personally on special occasions, when their conditions are harsh and when everything may not be favorable for them either.
Right, Uday. Uday, I remember about a couple of years back, about 2-3 years back, he had even gone to Leh Ladakh without acclimatization or declimatization at this age. And, and a young soldier also requires acclimatization when he is going up to Ladakh and de-acclimatization. He went on a single day, he went up, came down, he addressed the troops. It makes a lot of difference. It makes a whole lot of difference. The morale. In fact, the army fights on the morale. When I say army, I mean Army, Navy, Air Force, I mean the armed forces. They fight on the morale. It's not just the machine, it's the man behind the machine. And where does the morale of the man behind the machine come from? The leadership.
Bharat Mata ki. Bharat Mata ki.
So clearly, as you can see there, of course, the Josh is high at the Adampur Air Base. Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacting.
Bharat Mata ki. Bharat Mata ki.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi, of course, interacting with the forces there, with the Jawans, of course, and sloganeering. Clearly, the Josh is high there. Major Shah, the Josh is very high in the Adampur Air Base. Bharat Mata ki Jai, Vande Mataram echoing.
Most certainly, Uday, that's exactly what the point you were making earlier. When our leadership goes there on ground, it makes a whole lot of difference. And the Josh is everything. In fact, the Josh, the Hosh, the senior lot, the generals and the senior people are there to look after the Hosh. They take the strategic decisions. It's the youngsters with a lot of Josh, bubbling with energy, who charge upon the enemy totally unmindful of their own personal safety, go beyond the call of duty, अपनी जान की परवाह करे बगैर अपनी जान की बात लगाकर अपनी जान पे खेलकर जो दुश्मन के आगे कूद पड़ते हैं. Those are the youngsters, in fact, in the army. So even they use the Hosh and the Josh both. But when a leadership like the Prime Minister himself comes up there, and you mentioned earlier that how on Diwali he spends every Diwali on the frontiers, the troops who safeguard our national frontiers, be it on the western frontier, be it in the north, be it in the east, be it anywhere. So that is something which is which our troops now, for example, they were surprised. It was a surprise visit, and it was with a lot of love, and you can see the kind of morale, the Josh of the troops. There's nothing in the armed forces, in the Indian armed forces, that cannot be done. Our troops are so solid, they're so strong, they can face any eventuality anytime. Why? Because their morale is
throughout Operation Sindoor, you know, the forces really have shown how world class our forces really are, how world class our military really is, Major Shah, and also how coordinated it is, how well coordinated it is. We saw how, of course, the Army, the Navy, the Air Force all came together with such synergy throughout this operation.
Absolutely. Uday, I was speaking to a senior general officer yesterday, and he told me the best part was the whole nation. When two nations fight, it's not the troops, it's not the armies or the Navy or the Air Force, the whole nation fights together. So our nation, everyone came together, united, and the capability of our armed forces was shown straight away in the might. We had got Pakistan down on their knees. We could have got them down furthermore. That's a different story. But already we had got them down on their knees, and it showed how not just our offensive when we struck the 9 terror camps, also our defenses like the S-400s. They were so effective when these Pakistani drones were launched, where every projectile of theirs was intercepted and was destroyed in the air itself. We safeguarded every single citizen. Imagine, had the S-400 not been there, there was so much of controversy, there was so much of trouble when we were getting the S-400 from Russia, because Turkey had just got sanctioned on that. We were at a big risk. We were at a risk of being isolated. We were at a risk of, getting sanctioned from the US. But yet we went ahead and did that. And I'm so glad we made the right choice and right decision. We got that. So our offenses have proved themselves. Our defenses have proved themselves as well. So हम किसी को छेड़ेंगे नहीं, मगर किसी ने अगर हमको छेड़ा तो उसे हम छोड़ेंगे नहीं. That's why it's called the Indian Defence Forces. We defend ourselves very, very well. So my compliments once again to our brave hearts there.
All right, I'm taking a very short break at this point. We're back on the other side with lots more. We continue to track Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to the Adampur Air Base, a big morale booster for our forces. Taking a short break. We're back in just a couple of seconds. Don't go anywhere.
अगर आप बनना चाहते हैं एंकर या फिर आप में है जुनून एक तेज तर्रार न्यूज रिपोर्टर बनने का, तो आप ज्वाइन करें ITV और इंडिया NewsX का मीडिया स्कूल। ITV नेक्स्ट मीडिया इंटरनेशनल स्कूल का कोर्स आपको मौका देता है देश के दिग्गज एंकर्स के साथ काम करने का। ITV नेक्स्ट मीडिया इंटरनेशनल स्कूल में आप बेहद नजदीकी से देख पाएंगे किस तरह से ITV नेटवर्क के दिग्गज पत्रकारों की टीम दिन रात खबरों पर काम करती है। इस कोर्स के दौरान आप सीखेंगे एंकरिंग की एक एक बारीकी उन एंकर्स के साथ जो देश को रखते हैं हर खबर से बाखबर। ITV नेक्स्ट मीडिया इंटरनेशनल स्कूल का ये कोर्स आपके एंकरिंग स्किल्स को करेगा इतना सशक्त, मजबूत, जिससे आप बनेंगे पत्रकारिता की दुनिया का वो चमकता चेहरा जो दुनिया देखेगी और पसंद करेगी।
It is now confirmed that India has carried out 9 strikes into Pakistan. There you have it. It's a large explosion that has taken place. You can hear the sound of the missile coming down.
These are the line of control area visuals where we are standing and we are continuously monitoring the situation.
मैं उन सबको हाथ जोड़ के तहे दिल से इस परिवार से और उन 26 परिवारों की तरफ से थैंक यू बोलना चाहूँगी।
Multiple missile strikes on each target and of course a position has been taken that all efforts have been made to minimize civilian casualties.
This was the location of that strike.
It is now confirmed that India has carried out 9 strikes into Pakistan.
Welcome back. I'm Uday Pratap Singh. You're joining us on NewsX. Our big focus is our Prime Minister Narendra Modi has paid a surprise visit to the Adampur Air Base. Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacted with the Jawans there, also got a briefing from the Air Force personnel. You can see there these pictures coming in, these visuals coming in. A big morale booster, of course, for the forces. Their josh is clearly very high after this visit by Prime Minister Modi to that airbase. Remember, they have, of course, done such a fantastic job. The nation is so proud of them after Operation Sindoor. We saw also last night how PM in his address had also commended the efforts of the security forces, and also now going this morning himself also sends out a huge message, of course, to the security forces, but also to anyone who dares to harm India. As you can see, this airbase is in tip-top condition. It debunks Pakistan's propaganda of trying to attack it. It also shows a message that our forces are not tired. They are ready for any conflict whenever the need may arise. Manohar Kesri, my colleague, is joining us for more details on this story. Manohar, big moment for the forces at the Adampur Air Base. Reportedly, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit there was a surprise one, Manohar, coming just the morning after he addressed the nation.
बिल्कुल उदय, हमारे लिए भी एक सरप्राइज था कि उम्मीद नहीं थी कि प्रधानमंत्री वहां जाएंगे, लेकिन अक्सर प्रधानमंत्री इस तरह के जब ऑपरेशन होते हैं तो सेनाओं के मनोबल को वो बढ़ाने के लिए वहां पहुंचते हैं। आज जिस तरह से प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी आदमपुर एयरबेस पहुंचे और वहां पर सेनाओं के साथ जिस तरह से मुलाकात की है, वहां पर भारत माता की जय के नारे लगाए गए हैं। और सबसे बड़ी बात है, आप देखिए कि जिस एयरफोर्स की सेनाओं ने पाकिस्तान से आए हुए ड्रोन और मिसाइल को पूरी तरह से निष्क्रिय कर दिया, डाटा जो डिफेंस एयरबेस सिस्टम है उसको एकदम पलक झपकते ही जिस तरह से उन्होंने एक्टिव रहते हुए कर दिखाया है, तो ऐसे में प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी उन्हें धन्यवाद देने के लिए, शुभकामनाएं देने के लिए और आगे इसी तरह से जो है सो अपने काम में रहने के लिए उन्होंने सेनाओं के साथ जो है सो मुलाकात की है, उनसे बातचीत की है। अब देखिए जिस तरह से उनका गेस्चर रहा, जिस तरह से सेनाओं ने हाथ उठा करके भारत माता की जय के नारे लगाए और लगातार वहां पर आप देखेंगे तो प्रधानमंत्री एयरबेस, क्योंकि आदमपुर जो एयरबेस है वो दूसरा सबसे बड़ा एयरबेस एयरफोर्स का माना जाता है, स्टेशन माना जाता है, तो ऐसे में वहां पर जो भी फाइटर जेट है उनके साथ भी प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी ने तस्वीर खिंचाई है। तो ऐसे में जब ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के कंप्लीशन के बाद, जैसा कि कल प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी ने देश के नाम में उन्होंने कहा संबोधित करते हुए कि हमारी जो सेनाएं हैं उन्होंने वो कर दिखाया जिसे पाकिस्तान सोच भी नहीं सकता था, और पाकिस्तान के आतंकी ठिकानों को खंडर में तब्दील कर दिया। और ऐसे में उनके काम की सराहना करने के लिए आज सुबह पहुंचे, जिसे हमें भी उम्मीद नहीं थी। हम भी जब देखे कि प्रधानमंत्री वहां पहुंचे, उनकी जो तस्वीर आई, सबसे पहले तस्वीर आई, उसके बाद वीडियो आया कि प्रधानमंत्री किस तरह से उनके साथ मिल रहे हैं और उनके जोश जो है तो काफी हाई है।
जी बिल्कुल मनोहर, और खबर ये आ रही है कि प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी को ब्रीफिंग वहां मिली एयरफोर्स पर्सनल द्वारा। शायद उन्होंने बताया होगा कि किस तरह से एयरबेसों से हमने स्ट्राइक्स लॉन्च किए थे, हमने मिसाइल्स लॉन्च किए थे, हमने पाकिस्तान के ड्रोन्स पर हमला किया था। शायद उनको बताया गया होगा कि कैसे हमने पाकिस्तान के नापाक इरादों को ध्वस्त किया, कैसे ड्रोन्स पर आक्रमण और वार किया गया, जो ड्रोन्स आ रहे थे इस एयरबेस के निकट, आदमपुर के निकट। और सुनने में यह भी आ रहा है कि प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी ने काफ़ी वक्त भी गुजारा जवानों के संग, नारेबाजी भी हुई, भारत माता की जय वहाँ गूंज रहा है, वंदे मातरम के नारे वहाँ गूंज रहे हैं। मनोहर
देखिए बिल्कुल तस्वीर जो है सो साफ तौर से बतला रही है किस तरह से वहां पर जो सेना थे, जो बहादुर जवान है, जो इस बार के हीरो रहे, क्योंकि सबसे ज्यादा जो आप देखेंगे तो ऑपरेशन सिंदूर में एयरफोर्स का ज्यादा दबदबा रहा, एयरफोर्स ने जो कर दिखाया, क्योंकि हालांकि तीनों सेनाओं का एक कोऑर्डिनेशन था, एक बेहतर तालमेल था, इसलिए लगातार हमने प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस में देखा। लेकिन जब आज प्रधानमंत्री वहां पर पहुंचे आदमपुर एयरबेस में, तो वहां लोगों से उन सारी चीजों के बारे में बात की कि जब उधर से ड्रोन आ रहा था तो वहां का सिचुएशन कैसा था, किस तरह से हमने एक्टिव किया एयर डिफेंस सिस्टम, किस तरह से लोगों में हमने किस तरह से कोऑर्डिनेट किया एक दूसरे से, किस तरह से एयर रेड सायरन के लिए लोगों को बताया, अधिकारियों को बताया, फिर लोगों को ब्लैकआउट के लिए कहा, और किस तरह से हमने पूरी तरह से 1 बाय 1 करके उनके सारे मिसाइल और ड्रोन को मार गिराए। इन सब के बारे में भी प्रधानमंत्री ने चर्चा की है उन जवानों के साथ, वहां जो अधिकारी मौजूद थे उनके साथ, और साथ ही साथ एक एक सिस्टम को उन्होंने देखा भी, क्योंकि प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी ने कल ये बोला, उन्होंने कहा कि अब पूरी दुनिया ने इस ऑपरेशन सिंदूर से देखा कि भारत जो है तो इस तरह के हथियारों में किस तरह से आत्मनिर्भर हो गया है। अब मेड इन इंडिया के नाम से जो है तो भारत जाना जाएगा, मेड इन इंडिया की विपणन पूरी दुनिया में जानी जाएगी, क्योंकि अब मेड इन इंडिया ड्रोन का इस्तेमाल किया गया पाकिस्तान के ड्रोन को गिराने के लिए, उसके मिसाइल को गिराने के लिए। भारत का जो एयर डिफेंस सिस्टम है, जो मेड इन इंडिया डिफेंस सिस्टम है, उसका इस्तेमाल किया गया। भारत में बने हुए जो ब्रह्मोस की बात करें, हालांकि रसिया के साथ जो है दोनों का टाइप के साथ बना है, तो कैसे हम आत्मनिर्भरता की और इस डिफेंस में हम आगे बढ़े हैं, उसका भी एक बेहतरीन प्रदर्शन रहा, एक बेहतरीन जो है सो सबक पाकिस्तान को इसके जरिए सिखाया गया है। तो ये भी प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी ने वहां जाकर के एक मैसेज देने की कोशिश की है। जी।
Professor Madhav Nalapat, editorial director of the Sunday Guardian, is also joining us now live on the broadcast. Professor Nalapat, Prime Minister Narendra Modi paying this surprise visit to the Adampur Air Base. How do you view this? What is your first reaction to these visuals coming in?
Well, I'd like to say that this is obviously a morale-boosting visit. Having the Prime Minister there in the midst of these very brave air persons. We have female pilots also, and they're exceptionally good. I don't know if they've been featured today, but they're there. Now, the point is very simple. The point is that he would like to ensure, first, give a signal to the country that this is an ongoing operation. There's only a pause, as he correctly said yesterday. A very, very powerful speech. And secondly, to boost the morale of the airmen and to boost their morale, because as and when a fresh round of fighting comes in, they will go with redoubled energy after the enemy and make short work of the enemy. I want to say, Uday, that neutral observers using data, credible data, have concluded that India comprehensively won the entire war. The air war, the drone war, all these wars were won by India. The only point is, today is the age of missiles and drones. The age of aircraft, frankly, has slowly given way to the age of missiles and drones. And here, self-reliance is absolutely essential for a simple reason that when you have a foreign equipment, then they can have Trojans in that. For example, in high-performance aircraft, each of them will be relaying information real time as to performance to the company that's making them. And if that company is located in a country that's friendly to any of the enemy countries, we are in a serious amount of trouble. So I'd like to point out, Uday, we scored a huge comprehensive victory. We must really fully congratulate our armed forces for that. They are the best in the world. I'm saying this in terms of the Indian Air Force, Navy, Army, Coast Guard. When you talk on a human basis, whether it's a man or woman, whoever is there, they are the best in the world. And we showed that in this brief conflict that we had with Pakistan, and we will show it again as and when the need arises. And this is why the Prime Minister went there, to give that message and to boost confidence. Thank you.
Yes, Professor Nalapat, also, of course, this debunks the Pakistani propaganda that our bases are damaged, that our bases are not secure. It busts that propaganda completely. It also, of course, shows how the forces are on a state of constant alert. As the PM says, and as you were just saying, Operation Sindoor is just on a pause. It's not ended.
Yeah, you're perfectly right. It does demonstrate that very visibly. And it does demonstrate that in a manner which nobody can refute. As for the Pakistan disinformation factory, that's going to keep spewing out lies. I think we should just forget about these lies, ignore it, don't allow it to affect our morale or our psychology, because that is the reason for these lies. And secondly, to convince the world that they have not been defeated, it is a draw, when actually it is a comprehensive defeat of Pakistan forces by Indian forces today.
Absolutely. Professor Nalapat, also, this is not the first time that, PM Modi has gone to a forward base in this manner. He often goes and visits our Jawans in the harshest of conditions, be it in Leh Ladakh, be it in, in Kutch, be it in, in Kargil, and often, in fact, spends festivals with them as well. We've seen him on so many Diwalis being with the forces when they are away from their own families.
Look, this is a human angle, which is very important. You need a certain amount of empathy. You need to show a lot of humanity, because these are very important factors in leadership. The Prime Minister has that, and he's demonstrated that by these visits, Uday. You have, let us say, for example, you're dealing with somebody. He doesn't show any empathy. He doesn't show any kind of humanity towards you. You're not inclined to be very happy dealing with him. On the other hand, you have a leader who is empathetic to the people, who has a huge reverence for humanity and humanism, then obviously you relate much better to that particular leader. I think the Prime Minister has amply demonstrated that he's in the latter category, Uday.
Okay, let me in fact also bring in a Major General Rajan Kochar, defense expert in at this point to the broadcast. Major General Rajan Kochar, your first reaction to Prime Minister Modi's visit. It was a surprise visit. It seems to have been a huge morale booster for our forces.
Absolutely, Uday. I think there could not be a better moment for Air Force Station Adampur, because this is one of our premier Air Force stations in Western Air Command. And it's a great moment for the air warriors there, the men, the officers, the pilots, who were all the time working round the clock to make this mission possible. And I think Prime Minister Modi always chooses the right moment. And also it is important because, see, there was a fake narrative being propagated by Pakistan that they have damaged the runway of the Air Force Station Adampur. So Prime Minister Modi has also sent a message to Pakistan that here I am there at this airfield, and I am absolutely, there is no damage to the airfield. So I think it's a very, very symbolic, because he has chosen the right place to visit, to send a strong message to Pakistan that whatever fake narratives you are giving there lie exposed. And being an army man myself, it's a rare moment of your life to see a Prime Minister coming and spending some time with you. I don't think everyone in the service is as lucky as the Air Force Station, Adampur, and its men and officers there, because meeting the Prime Minister in flesh and blood, talking to the Prime Minister, and it's a great impetus to the men, the machine, and the morale. So all these three factors, I would say, are extremely important, because the men are there, they are maintaining the machine round the clock, and they have been working there round the clock. You see, it's not an easy job to keep the aircraft airworthy all the time. And the morale factor. It's, I think, kudos, I think, to the Prime Minister for this gesture, because, it has to strike somebody to, in spite of the busy work in Delhi, he has taken off time and be with the men. I think it's...
and Major General Kumar, of course, he's being... Major General Kochar, beg your pardon, Major General Kochar is being briefed, of course, by the, by the seniors there, of course, and perhaps he's being told about how the operation was carried out from bases like Adampur. Also, of course, he's also meeting with the the younger Jawans there. They're obviously very, very excited to meet him. There were photos clicked as well. Also interacted with some of the lady officers as well over there. The lady officers also standing shoulder to shoulder with their male counterparts. In fact, we saw how two of them were briefing the media at regular intervals as well, and they've also met the PM at Adampur today. Major Kochar.
Yes, you absolutely, it's a wonderful, and especially, we have seen this in the briefings also in Operation Sindoor. There was a wing commander from the Air Force, and she was a lady officer. So I think this message is going loud and clear that women in the country have been given the rightful place, and when a Prime Minister visits and talks to the lady officers, it actually sends a very strong message across the country as well as across the world. So I think this is a very, very symbolic gesture, and it was after a very long time I have seen two young lady officers addressing the press briefings over these last 4 days and being very, very perfect and precise in their words and in their action. So I think, Uday, you are absolutely right. Prime Minister has made a great effort to be there and be talking to the lady officer.
Yes, indeed, Major Kochar, and of course, it comes the morning after his address to the nation as well, in which very powerful messages were sent out to anyone who harbors terrorists. A very powerful message was sent out to anyone who tries to harm India. A very powerful message was sent out to the world at large.
No, absolutely, Uday. A very strong message has gone today, and also one thing more I want to emphasize here, it is a message of victory. Do we see the Prime Minister of Pakistan doing such a thing today? No. It is very, very clear who is the winner.
He's too busy. He's too busy thanking Donald Trump and Marco Rubio, Major Kochar. He's too busy thanking Donald Trump and Marco Rubio for bailing him out, for saving him, than to go to any base.
Yeah, absolutely. In the Prime Minister's address, we all noticed there was no mention of Donald Trump. And he doesn't deserve a mention in any case. So it's very, very clear here in the Pakistan what is happening and in India what is happening. We have fought this war on our own terms, with our own equipment and with our own strength. We have not relied upon any third country to help us, and which Pakistan was very evident. China, Turkey, the kind of equipment they were using, it was very clear that it's not Pakistan which was fighting, it was China and Turkey who were fighting along with Pakistan. So we have proved, as you rightly said, Prime Minister is here, the victory dance has started, and a strong message has gone to Pakistan that our Prime Minister is in Adampur and the war has been won by India.
Major General Brajesh Kumar, former DG Military Infrastructure, also joins us now live. Major General Kumar, your first reaction to these visuals. How do you view these visuals, sir, which have come in? The Prime Minister's unannounced visit to Adampur, surprise visit to Adampur this morning.
Uday, our Prime Minister has displayed his mettle, a hands-on man, and I think a very charismatic and a visionary leader. What we have seen in the operations, which are very short and small, 3.5 to 4 days, what he has achieved is substantive. And what he has done is something very, very huge. Imagining getting the three services to act jointly in a synergistic manner, it has been his thought, his brainwave, and he has worked for it while in the planning stage. Remember, meeting each of them together, individually, to make a plan. And the plan succeeded. More importantly, he called the nuclear bluff of Pakistan, which he said so in his address to the nation yesterday. In addition, keep making deep strikes without losses and putting this pressure of the military machine and the kinetics of Indian Army, Navy and the Air Force. He is a very nice leader. And a leader, he doesn't believe in showing things. It is substance. When he visits his troops today morning, it is not a mere show. It is substance. He has gone to thank them. He thanked all of us, the military, the rest of the people of the country, everybody yesterday evening in their address. But first thing first in the morning, he goes out to meet his soldiers and thanks them. Imagine the kind of a motivation it has. It's a force multiplier. It's not the army, soldiering, military is not a game of numbers. It's not 100 aircraft versus 200 aircraft. It's not 5 tanks versus 2 tanks. It is actually a synergy. It is a morale which is a force multiplier. We have seen in the history how a smaller force, well-machined, motivated, has outflanked or beaten a much stronger opposite force. In India, we are no strangers to this, right from the Battle of Panipat and what have you. So that in that semblance, it's so wonderful to have the mass leader, a strategic and a visionary leader, going out to various places, various military units, especially the Air Force, which has done so very well. And of course, the message goes through the media, through the internet, to the entire world per se. What it says? Well, India has arrived. We don't look to Pakistan as small victories here and there. Our vision is higher. When we are talking about the 4th largest economy today and maybe 3rd largest in the near future, our aims and objectives are much different. That's what the Prime Minister is saying. So instead of equating ourselves with our neighbor, which is all sorts of problems and a cancer, as we say in our western backyard, we got to deal with it and look ahead. And phenomenal has the victory and phenomenal has been the thanksgiving of the Prime Minister. We need to look ourselves, we need to join him. He's working very hard. A message to all of us. Rather than blaming or criticizing A, B, C, Pakistan and me, we need to do our bit.
Yes, Vijay Kumar, also this shows, how, the nation always remembers its forces at a time of conflict. But when a conflict is over, it's time to acknowledge them. It's time then also to stand with them and show how we are eternally grateful. And that's what the PM is doing today.
Absolutely, Uday. I'm sure the message also goes on to the other arms of the government, the captains of the industry, the NGOs and what have you. The soldiers, airmen and the seamen, navics, they do so much in times of war. We all applaud them. But after the victory, after the event is over, they tend to be forgotten. We took a little practical, messages to all these people. They say, okay, there would be people who would be killed. There are people who have got killed. There are people who got maimed. There are families. Look after them. Or the country and the countrymen and the people who can do that. That would be some succour and a great way of motivation to the armed forces. PM has done his bit. The government will do its bit, but that's not good enough. So my appeal to all of us, all people, all Indians, all sympathizers across the globe, do your bit. Army will never fail. Air Force will never fail. Navy, Army, Air Force together will be victorious. We'll put the country in the path to progress. We'll secure borders, work and vote, make it a first-class economy. That actually is what we want. First-class economy has a deeper pocket to buy armaments, be not dependent, and then be a good military machine. One more last thing. The event is actually makes sense to exhort fellow Indians, go and visit Kashmir, spend some time there, ensure that Kashmir gets back to the mainstream of the country. Their men and women study here, buy property here. We, in our case, go there and enjoy our holidays. And that would be a great finale and fitting tribute to this episode of the operation which we've had the last so many days.
Absolutely. Major Kumar, also I have to ask you what stood out for you in the Prime Minister's address to the nation yesterday. This visit comes, of course, the morning after that address to the nation. That was his first speech after Operation Sindoor's successful conclusion. What stood out for you?
Two things. Being firm with our neighbor who will recalcitrant, talks and terror, talks and trade, पानी और खून साथ नहीं चलेगा. Second, more importantly, called the nuclear bluff of Pakistan. Pakistan military machine and establishment led by their generals have been thinking they have an umbrella of nuclear warhead, tactical, strategic, and what have you. With that, we can play merry hell in the states of Jammu and Kashmir. The so-called jugular vein of Asim, General Asim, the chief army staff. That he called the bluff of. And it was very well shown by a deep strike. And finally, to resolve the old outstanding Pak-occupied Kashmir, it will take time and it will come. But the best thing could have happened is calling the nuclear bluff of our neighbor.
Okay. In fact, Home Minister Amit Shah has also now put out a post on social media platform X on Prime Minister Modi's visit to Adampur Air Base. He has said, हम भारतीय अपने वीर जवानों के साहस और शौर्य पर अत्यंत गौरवान्वित हैं. प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने आदमपुर एयरबेस पर वीर जवानों से मिलकर उनका हौसला बढ़ाया. हमारे तीनों सेनाओं और सशस्त्र बलों का पराक्रम दुनिया भर में आतंक के खिलाफ जीरो टॉलरेंस का पर्याय bana hai. Echoing, of course, what PM has said yesterday. Every Indian is extremely proud of the courage and bravery of our brave soldiers, is what Home Minister Amit Shah has said. Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji met with the brave soldiers at Adampur Air Base and encouraged them. The valor of our three armies and armed forces has become synonymous with zero tolerance against terrorism across the world. So, you know, the Prime Minister, of course, put out that message yesterday, Major General Kumar. The Union Home Minister echoing that message now. As you said, it's time for the nation to be united as they were through Operation Sindoor and also echo this message.
It's not good enough just to say Prime Minister has done this, he's done this. We 140 crore people have to be doing our bit as well.
Absolutely.
Hope we do that.
Absolutely. Major General Brajesh Kumar, thank you very much for joining us with your perspective on this big story. In fact, let's quickly now play out some ground reports coming in from Jammu and Kashmir.
Massive anti-drone drive has been started over here in the Jammu city, and you could see that this is one of a border area where yesterday drone was spotted on the skies, and immediately anti-drone system was activated, which destroyed most of the drone came from Pakistan side. It seems that once again Pakistan have attempted to target the defense installations and other civilian area with the help of drone, but drone was immediately shot down by the anti-drone system, and about 20 to 25 drones were spotted in Adampur, Samba and part of the Jammu here on the international border area. So it was shot down, but now the police is ensuring that this drone has to be found, and they will be part of investigation to expose Pakistan once again, because we have seen that Pakistan many a time have tried to basically target the defense installation with the help of drone, but it was foiled. So it seems that in frustration, Pakistan once again, even after ceasefire is announced, Pakistan was trying to basically disturb the peace process and here in the Jammu and Kashmir. So that's why this anti-drone drive have been started by the security forces, by the Jammu Kashmir police in this area, to ensure that they have to foil all the nefarious plan of Pakistan, and also they have to produce this these drones of Pakistan in front of the international community, that how Pakistan is basically trying to disturb peace and continuously trying to derail the ceasefire between the two countries. I will tell you that this is the fourth attempt from Pakistan side when Pakistan have used these drones to basically to target the defense installation, and that's why it has been observed that after these drones were spotted in these locations, these areas are under search, because they have to ensure that every drone has to be found, and they have to expose the Pakistan's nefarious agenda of basically what they are trying to do. They always try to play a victim card in front of the world community, but this time Pakistan was this plan of disturbing peace will not be succeeded. We have seen that how Indian Air Force, they have hit out at terror launch pad and terror training camp there in Pakistan. We have seen that how their 12 base camps have been Air Force of Pakistan was destroyed by the force.
अगर आप बनना चाहते हैं एंकर या फिर आप में है जुनून एक तेज तर्रार न्यूज रिपोर्टर बनने का, तो आप ज्वाइन करें ITV और इंडिया NewsX का मीडिया स्कूल। ITV नेक्स्ट मीडिया इंटरनेशनल स्कूल का कोर्स आपको मौका देता है देश के दिग्गज